Hey, just a quick thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. We just could not do an independent year-round college football show without you, so thank you.
Welcome to the Solid Verbal. And now, Dan and Ty.
Full disclosure, you sent me a panicked message this morning on Slack.
Oh, yeah.
And at first glance, I thought something was wrong. It wasn't a good morning. It was the results, or it wasn't the results of today's map tap competition that you and I have going on.
Not a sponsor. Would be thrilled to have MapTap as a sponsor.
It was a sentence with two expletives about Virginia's schedule.
Yeah.
You think this is a good schedule. I'm not so sure. But
Really?
I'm asking you to defend yourself right now. Yes.
Well, I guess I have to pull up the Virginia schedule if you're going to put me on the spot here. Virginia this season, coming off of, again, a breakthrough schedule under Tony Elliott and last year with Chandler Morris. But this season features a schedule that starts with NC State, no longer in Rio.
Not in Rio. Not in Rio.
But in Charlottesville, yes.
Yep.
Norfolk State,
Mike
West
Vick,
Virginia,
right? It's Mike Vick.
neutral. Yes.
Yep.
Delaware.
Okay. Blue Hens. Go Blue Hens.
Florida State on the road.
Yep.
I mean, could be tough. Yes.
We'll get to Florida State. It's a nuanced conversation.
But it's maybe a look-ahead spot with Louisville and Miami in the weeks to come. Syracuse at home, so they don't have to go to the JMA Wireless Dome. And who knows what Syracuse is, but they have a ways to go from where they were last year. But hopefully they're healthy at quarterback. SMU away, tough. I think definitely a tough matchup traveling to Dallas. Duke at home, defending champ, but Duke without a lot of what led to a lot of those offensive fireworks.
Not knowing what a team is, I have no idea what to expect from Duke, but please continue.
Wake Forest on the road. I like Wake Forest. I don't look at that as obviously dangerous, even though I believe they did nothing offensively against Wake Forest last season.
Wake's going to be a pain in the ass this year. Again, like they
Wake's
were
going to be a
last
pain.
year.
I agree. But Virginia lost that game last year, right?
Yep.
So the potential revenge spot, they have all of their attention. They did lose that game last year. It was like a low-scoring game, 16-9. Yeah. After Wake, they have a bye before they host Cal, traveling across the country. No doubt Cal's going to be tough, but we don't know what Cal's going to be, especially on defense. It's a pretty big mystery about what Cal's defense is going to look like, and it wasn't anywhere good last year. North Carolina should be improved, especially on offense. Can't go much lower than where they were in the ACC offensively last year.
I think they'll be better.
But Bobby Petrino adds an element. And they're on the road at Virginia Tech in the Commonwealth Cup. But it's a first-year coach. Don't know what Ethan Grunkmeyer is going to be. They miss Miami, right?
No Miami, no Clemson on this.
No Notre Dame?
No Notre Dame.
If I'm not mistaken.
No
Pitt, who could be pretty good.
We'll get to Pitt. But
we'll get to Pitt. That's all fine. We don't know what Georgia Tech's going to be, but they don't play Georgia Tech, a team who's won a bunch of games the last few years. So just in terms of what the schedule could be and where their starting point is, which is, to me, promising defense, coaching and coordinator continuity. Quarterback, while not my favorite situation, quarterback should be playing behind a good offensive line. I think when you look at the top-tier offensive lines in this conference, Virginia's in that conversation, absolutely.
They're in that
what they're returning.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So, starting point, schedule, experience at quarterback in major conferences. I'm not going to talk specifically about the ups and downs of that experience with both of these guys.
I can go
Beau
there.
Pribula and Eli Holstein, but they've been there, okay? I like Virginia. I don't know how much I love Virginia, but I like where they're at given that schedule. How about that?
I'm worried UVA is going to be a half team. And
okay.
They could probably get away with being a half team against the schedule. I don't think it's quite as easy as you're making it out to be. But I also agree that the starting point is pretty positive. What UVA has going for it this year is defense. They could have created a bit more pressure last year, but it was all around pretty solid in all the numbers that we track. This is a top 20 defense. They were really good on third downs, yards per play, all the stuff that we talk about when we do previews. All that fun stuff definitely checks out. This year, per some of the projections, the defense is 20th in the nation at least in terms of returning production.
Yep.
They're swapping in guys up front that they hope can be a little bit more disruptive. There's a question about health in the back seven. Everyone's got health questions.
Sure.
The back seven this year.
Yeah. I have health issues in my back seven.
Yeah, we got health issues too.
Yeah.
But if it's going to happen for Virginia this year, it's going to be driven by their defense. Offensively, outside of the line, which I agree looks solid, I don't know. There's massive turnover across the board. It seems like it's going to be a Beau Pribula offense at quarterback. It's not official yet. He comes over from Mizzou. If not him, it's going to be Eli Holstein, my one true God who comes down from Pitt.
Yeah.
Beau's a better runner than Chandler Morris last year, but I think a significant downgrade in terms of a passer. So that's why if you read some of the practice reports and all the coach quotes thus far this season, everyone's talking about Beau's mobility. Not so much talking about him as a passer, as a pinpoint accurate passer. They're talking about, oh, he's good on the run.
Mm-hmm.
He's good with RPOs. So if he's the guy, and I think he will be, we're going to see an offense that's built around Beau's mobility, that's built around their ability to run the ball otherwise. I think it will look a little bit different as compared to last season. Doesn't mean it's any better or worse, but definitely different in terms of what UVA is going to be putting out there compared to what we saw last year with Chandler Morris.
The thing to like about UVA is they pulled out close games last year. There is some sort of proof of concept that Tony Elliott has his dudes prepared to play 4 quarters plus, right? The double overtime game against Florida State. I want to say they beat Louisville in overtime last year as well, when I think the Cardinals came back to tie that game late.
Yeah.
That there is something there culturally, there's something there emotionally, mentally, whatever, that has this team prepared to win close games. The thing I don't love is some of those close games were against teams like North Carolina and Washington State, right? Where you're like, okay, so they're of that quality, but they're pulling out those games, which you'd much rather have them do. And now that we have that base level, are they, if you're going to get better than that, which I think they do need to do, right? You can't win 8, 9, 10 games playing everybody good and not so good close, because those toss-ups are just not going to go math-wise your way every time.
Yeah.
And so are you going to Beau Pribula your way to more 10-plus point wins? And that would be the case against this, that they weren't performing like a top ACC team against mid or lower tier teams last season. And what have they done this year to say, okay, we're building upon those close wins, and here's how and why.
Right. And the other bit of hesitation I have about the offense is if they're going to try and run behind the line, and if they're going to try and lean into Beau, if he is the guy, his mobility, I think it means a lot on the ground.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of shorter stuff through the air. Last year, that was kind of their deal, by the way. This was not the most explosive offense in the world. They were like 83rd in the country in yards per play.
Right.
So I could see a lot of small ball here without any obvious targets out wide. Like, I was reading one of the reports that had Rico Flores. Do you remember Rico Flores?
This is school number 3?
School
Notre
number
Dame,
3.
UCLA?
Was at Notre Dame, went to UCLA, now he's at UVA. No disrespect to him, but when I see reports talking up Rico Flores as potentially wide receiver 1, that's where I sort of get off the bus. I'm not really seeing that. So I have questions about the offense and what that looks like, but I would agree to the extent that the starting point, if your starting point is a pretty good offensive line and a defense that figures to be one of the best in conference, you could do a lot worse than that, and they'll probably win more games than they lose. They'll probably be in that conversation.
So what you're essentially talking about is Mid-Atlantic Hawkeyes here.
Kinda.
Successful small ball built around an offensive line.
Kinda.
Specific defensive vision. They were one of the absolute best teams in America getting off the field and forcing 3 and outs, right?
I don't think they're as physical.
No.
As Iowa.
But just the intention, right?
Yeah.
The intention. So we can call him Ihua, right? Would that be accurate? No? Yes?
I would take Beau Pribula over Mark Gronowski, but Ihua, yes, we could do that.
I mean, they're not dissimilar in how Iowa used Gronowski. Oh my God. And I guess the best of what Beau Pribula could be, because he's going to be able to offer something, hypothetically, that Chandler Morris was not able to, physically, athletically, whatever. So, yeah, it's why I like Virginia, but I want them to be better in terms of outpacing the clearly lesser teams in the conference. And I love a team that does get that, like, okay, we won last year. Here are the guys returning who got that taste. Here's what it takes, and here's how we're going to build on it. Like, I don't want it. I don't want to believe it was a mirage. I want to believe there's enough back that the coordinators got a sense of what worked and that there's more to come and that they are able to keep identifying dudes that can make a difference on defense, especially because you're right. This is not going to probably be, with Beau Pribula at the helm, probably not going to be a team that's bombing it downfield successfully like they did way back when with Bryce Perkins. That kind of so that's sort of my thing with Virginia. I like them, but I am a little bit afraid to get hurt again.
There's a pretty obvious ceiling.
Yeah.
That said, in this conference with a big old meaty middle and no clear delineation with respect to who number 2 is, you could win with small ball.
Yeah.
Against the schedule, you could win with small ball. So I'm with you. I'm optimistic on UVA. I'm probably not as optimistic as you are, but I think we can comfortably say at this point, it's not like they're going to revert back to previous UVA teams, at least not this season, where they go 2-10. This is still a pretty good team that's going to be in the hunt for a good chunk of the year.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and thank you for at least considering subscribing to the channel. It means a ton.